Thank you guys for putting
So
up with the technical difficulties. Um, I don't know where I should start. Should I start over from the beginning?
Yeah, probably.
go for it. It was only about 3 minutes of content anyway.
Um, we've done a lot of patches and fixes over the week. A lot of it was back end stuff that people normally wouldn't notice, but a lot of it was improvements to prevent things from going away. Like I think we've completely eliminated the lost items as far as using them. And then yesterday I just put in another check to make sure that you didn't lose them when you bought them. So I haven't heard any complaints of that today.
Great.
Um, so with
Well,
that,
that's
and
good.
the big ones were always using items, purifying resources, and the buying the items. So now that I've got kind of like a double check in there, um, that should go away to make sure. What the issue was is that it was getting overwritten. Um, so basically, what I did was I made it go back in and check to make sure that it actually got the save in and that it actually held before it actually reduces the amount of resources in the city or the amount of denarii used. So it should really prevent anything like that happening anymore, which is going to save
Very
me a
good.
Perfect.
ton of time on refunds.
Yeah.
There's
Yes.
no better motivation than that.
Great.
Uh, the convert order button is fixed for the next front end patch I do, which will probably be sometime tomorrow. We'll give you guys a good warning. I try not to do too many maintenances, um, just because I don't want to interrupt the gameplay too much. So, this should be the last kind of maintenance, and I'm going to try to get the mark on worldview in before I do a patch. That way we don't have to do any more maintenances, because on the back end stuff I can fix while the game is running and without any interruption, but the front end stuff kind of everybody has to be off and reload so that the front end loads and syncs with the back end properly.
We should try and get maybe the friends menu in then as well, because that should be kind of front endy as well.
Um,
Would it?
yeah, that might be something down the road. I think friends is kind of
Okay.
less important. Um, after we get the big things out of the way, I'd like
That's
to
true.
start adding things in on overviews that we need to add in. So I've got like
Okay.
3 or 4 pages on overviews I'd like to make after we kind of get
Yeah.
everything settled and fixed. Um, like reports, incomings and outgoings. There was a couple others that I kind of wanted to put in there.
Yes. James Galv has a question. Are combat calculations different from other games? I've seen people say that troop types don't matter as much and that larger troop totals get better bonuses. Is there any way to detail what has been changed, if anything?
We've pretty much like tested and worked to make it pretty much spot on to all the battle calcs that we can test on. Um, I think the only difference that people don't realize, I think one of the tickets we had today about it was that the battle calcs don't actually take into account, if you have 4 times more troops, doubling up the damage. They kind of say that they will, but they don't. I think that's the only difference is that we actually do double the damage or triple the damage for 9 times. Difference in the attack or defense calculations, but other than that, it should be pretty spot on to other games we will not mention. Um, but that is, that
Yeah.
was our goal. Is we, spent a lot of alphas just sitting there testing it, trying to get it perfect. I think the last piece was the last alpha when we figured out the towers needed to be changed a little bit and got those fixed. But it should be pretty close. Every time I try it, it's always within 10 or 15 troops here or there.
I know there was a problem during one of the closed testings that we had between beta 2 and 3 where we realized that the way that the portal penalty displayed was kind of backwards from calcs that like outside calculators that people might have been using. So that's fixed now as well.
Yeah, and some things can't think of any right now, but sometimes I took things that should have been common sense and should have been added in and put them in there. It was nothing major. Um, I can't think off the top of my head what exactly I changed. Um, if it comes to me, I'll spit it out. But
Kind of just display things like, yeah.
yeah, some of it was display things. Some of it was like castles. When you accept the castle, you automatically can attack or accept being attacked. Things like that.
Okay. Yeah. Oh
But
no, I have loading stream.
we tried not to change anything too much, and especially on like the attack calculations, we spent a lot of time making sure that they were pretty spot on.
Yeah. Yes, we did. Many weeks.
Um,
So the only thing that those old calculators aren't going to calculate is a big troop differential.
yeah, and a lot of times they won't match up because you don't actually get to see, like if you're the attacker, you don't get to see the actual wall bonus. So you don't know what level wall you're hitting, unless you've got scouts in there. So a lot of times it's,
That's true.
the things that can be off are those little tweaks here and there for like walls and things like that. But for the most part, every time I try it, as long as you get the options right, it matches up pretty perfectly, except for the ×2. And I'm not sure if other games actually had the ×2 in there or not, but I know the battle calcs don't.
Okay. Veeam says that demolishing buildings doesn't return resources, but downgrading does. Is that intended? No, that is not intended. Is that
No, it's
is
not.
that the way that it is?
I think what might be happening on that one is that it's returning the resources from level 1 to 0, and not all of the resources. So,
Okay, so we can change that. And fix
yeah, I
it.
can fix that.
Okay, cool.
Anarchy brings up the scheduling reinforcements. That anytime you put in an arrival time, it won't. It says it can't make it.
Is this the thing again where it has reverted a couple of times to local time, even though we keep telling it to do server time? So it could be that again.
Is it when you're setting them to send to leave at a certain time or return at or hit at a certain time? Because there's two different functions there.
It sounds like he's talking about arrival time, the phrasing of the question, but I guess both, yeah.
Both of them? Yeah, I think the issue
Yeah.
with that comes from goddamn JavaScript time, which is such a pain in the ass. Because
Yeah.
it'll keep the same time, but it'll convert the days if you're ahead 5 hours and you do something at at 20 20, it'll calc it as the next day or the day behind. So I'll take another look at it and test it out some and get that fixed.
Proxy, after the stream, I will spend a few minutes with you and see if I can figure out why your counselor's stopping.
You know what?
If
The
that's
defense counselor,
okay.
there is something I need to put in there. If you've got mixed troops, and I tried to put it in there so it kind of did like a percentage of the troops. So if you have 50K
It kind of stays even,
vanquishers,
yeah.
so it kind of stays even. I think the issue comes in where you try to keep it even, and then you don't have the resources for one, but you have
Like
the
if
resources
you run
for
out
the
of
other.
iron or something.
Right, then it doesn't make
Yeah.
the other one. So I need to put in something where it skips over that one. So that's probably the issue that people are having with the defense counselor.
Okay.
So I'll work on that tonight.
Cool.
I meant to do it the other day, but I just kind of got sidetracked. Sometimes when other stuff happens, it's hard for me to get other things done because I kind of put them in a priority of. Oh yeah, that's the front end one that I need to do. Is if you're
Yeah, we
saving
just need to
again-
change around how the menu works. Yeah, exactly, because if you save twice, it deletes the numbers, so the numbers need to stay populated in there the whole time.
And especially if
Yeah.
somebody's having any kind of
Yes.
flag or something, then they'll double click it without realizing it and they'll zero it out.
Exactly.
So
Yes, yeah. So yeah, we can fix that.
remind me to do that before the next front end patch.
Will do.
It should be like that anyways. I should do that for the for other things as well. I'd like to be able to get the times to sync across the different attack menus too. So that's on the list as well.
Yeah, we need to defense counselor, and there's something different about the just kind of regular enlistment menu as well that we need to change, but I can't remember what it is right now. So we can change all that around.
It's always something. You know, little
It
pieces.
is.
This game is so complex. There's so many different areas and forms, and
Boxes that aren't quite right yet. Yes, exactly.
it just takes time. And that's
So-
kind of why we have betas. Is so that we can make sure it gets through all of them and make sure everything is perfect before we go live.
The funny one is when the wall displays bonuses of buildings and area or the last thing you click.
Oh yeah, the wall is kind of different and special. It's not quite a building, but it's not quite fortification either. So it kind of gets confused about what it is sometimes.
Yes.
Not only that, but it gets treated differently in the code too, because there's so many different places you can click it, but then it's really only in one
Yeah,
location.
It's having an identity crisis.
it is. Yeah.
Which reminds me,
So,
Portal
yeah.
should be opening up any time now. That'd be interesting.
Oh, true.
Especially
Yeah.
because
Do people
are
really have the
cast
troops?
I don't know.
Who's the other man voice beside Gordy's? That would be me.
Oh,
That's
jeez, Ed.
Poor Alan.
Yeah, I was at a wedding over the weekend, and I was singing my little heart out. So now I have no voice. So yeah, that's me. I'm the man today.
But that work on the worldview. I think most of the items we do have a couple more items to put in, but I don't know if anybody actually cares about having the protection.
Hand of the
Yeah.
gods. Yeah.
I know that we were planning on putting it in. I think some people had issues with the which one was it? The chariot or was it the winged feet with reinforcements not showing?
Oh, the one that it is for reinforcements. So I think that's the winged feet is for reinforcements. So yeah, sometimes the drop down menu just like it doesn't show all of the options, and actually sometimes with or at least about a week ago with oars and steeds as well, that could happen sometimes that it wasn't showing all of the options.
Oh.
I think that the issue might be that it like wasn't checking the current time. So like sometimes you'd have options from like 5 minutes ago that had already landed, and new trades that had since been sent out that weren't coming up yet. So maybe it's like an update thing.
I'll put more because some of them I did differently than others. So I think like the steed and oar, I redid them so that it actually like does a current poll to get the list. Whereas
Okay.
like I think the winged feet goes off of an array that's already like kind of in the system.
Okay.
So
Oh,
I'll just
the winged
change
feet
that.
are actually, we've had a few reports of the winged feet not popping up commands at all.
Yeah. So I'll just change it to work more like the oars and the steeds.
Yeah. I get chariot as well while you're at it, because I guess that's part of the same
I can't
group
remember
now
how
as well.
I did chariot, but I think I did chariot after I did
God.
oar and steed. So it probably works the same way as the other two.
Okay.
Actually, chariots are working. Several people have tested them.
Yay.
So those are working, right?
Great. Yeah, chariots are for raids and winged feet are for reinforcements. Yes.
Defenses command.
It's
Like,
down at the bottom of the left-hand panel. It's saying 50% at level 5.
oh, okay.
Okay,
No,
so
I just need to
that's-
divide that by 2.
Yeah. 50% of 50%.
Yeah.
Yes. Instead of just, but it does calculate it right for the attacks. It just that display is wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see real quick.
Yeah, and the key, I think that hammer, I think Gordy was saying that hammers should be fixed with the patch today.
Yeah, I think
What are you
so.
saying? Okay.
I think I fixed
So
them
that-
yesterday. Actually,
Yeah, they're acting up again.
are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
If anybody's got like
That's
specific
nice.
examples of how they're acting up, then I know where to look for them.
Same thing, just blowing through all the res until it's gone and going well over the time that they're meant to.
Huh. Okay. I'll look at that again.
Marcy says that's a fine looking city that you have there. Yes, I've
Yes.
got to agree.
These are my test cities where I just kind of build crap for no apparent
Greedy
reason.
asks, when will we get the other alliance pulls in overviews? Yeah, so I think that once we get kind of the principal bugs out of the way over the next couple of days, that we'll start with overviews next. So hopefully within the week or so. I don't know.
Yeah, and
Or what do you
overviews is
think?
something I can patch without doing an actual
Maintenance. Yeah.
maintenance. So
Right.
it's something I can just drop in there and they'll start working.
Cool. That'd be great.
And the forum threads, you have that fixed in for the patch, right?
You know, I thought I had fixed it. Apparently, there's still some issues with it.
Okay.
So
Is it
I'll double
people
check
not
it.
being able to create new forums or something like that?
New threads.
Oh, new threads in forums.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we can look at that.
Yeah, I saw that earlier when I was testing it out. So something. I'll
Can't
work on.
delete them either. So, yeah. It's just forums are being a pain.
Yeah, forums are not exactly easy to create, but eventually we're gonna get them a lot nicer than they are, and you know maybe some drop downs
Yeah.
with threads and stuff. But you know, bare minimals.
We just
for
need to
now.
get the skeleton of them for now. Yeah, exactly. Nimray says that a lot of forum threads come up blank as well.
Yeah, I saw that one as well. So I'll work on it more.
Just generally misbehaving.
Yeah.
Bad forums.
Bad forums. Yeah, so once we get them working, we can make them a whole lot prettier.
I need to fix the food warnings too.
Yeah, someone was saying that the hours don't save. They go back to 36 hours,
I thought they saved.
which I thought we fixed. Yeah, but
I've been
someone
able
was saying it earlier.
to paste from mails. I can.
Copy and paste from mails you can, from forums you can't.
Okay, I
Is
can
that
add
the
that in
issue?
too.
Or there's somewhere else we need to be able to copy and paste from, and I've completely forgotten what it is.
Oh, that,
It might be alliance announcements. Oh, we need to get alliance announcements in actually. Another front end thing we have to do.
Yeah.
Semicolons when doing a reply all. I think the semicolons aren't populating in the list, so they have to go through and put them all in manually.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I see. Okay, we can do that.
So yeah, replying all is kind of a pain too, especially if it went to a lot of people.
Well, at least it makes spamming, which was very popular. Mail spamming in the other game was a very popular
Yeah.
trolling technique, Gordy. So
That's all. Broke
at
the
least it makes
server.
that difficult.
Yeah. Okay, Marty, you can't copy and paste. I've been able to for
Yeah.
a while.
Copy and paste works in mails.
You have to click and highlight. You have to click and drag and highlight first, but right click copy and right click paste has been working for me. That's weird.
Oh,
Could you think we could get
is it just Marty? Because I disabled
see
it for her.
Yeah, we need to get that going for forums though.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's easy enough.
And the other thing we need to do is get formatting in both Alliance announcements, which we need to get working. We need to get that in Alliance profile as well, and also in forums, the way that it is in mails.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. The same kind of plugin we're using for mails.
Ooh, and also get the links working. So cohorts like player, alliance,
Oh yeah.
reports, yeah.
Okay.
Do reports work? Yeah. So lots to do.
Oh, Vax says there's a display bug where you can move res nodes until you refresh.
Oh.
Oh. Well,
um.
if you want to move them until you refresh, then have at it.
Probably about 800 tickets so far.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Over 500 anyway.
Oh, yeah. But I cleared out a bunch, so.
Oh, great.
A lot of them are
Not
the
enough.
same issues.
They
Yeah,
love
they
the
are.
move hotkey. Yeah, I've seen that quite a few times. They're loving the move hotkey.
Ooh, do we have the level up hotkeys yet? I used to love those in other games. I was addicted to them.
Where
And we don't have them here, and every time I try to actually play, it bothers me. I keep meaning to say it to you, and I always forget.
You mean in quick build or?
No,
As
I know what
in,
she's
like,
talking
if you
about.
click a building and it's, say, like, level 3, and I click the 7 button, it will queue the builds up to level 7.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So what happens if you press 3 and you've got a level 10?
Nothing happens then.
Okay,
Or
so
maybe
it
it
doesn't
downgrades.
work on
I don't know.
the downgrade?
I don't think it did in the other game, no.
I don't think it worked on the downgrade, no. So, yeah, just nothing happened then.
Yeah, I think that's a problem with sessions, BBJ. It's I think people are getting logged out of their sessions, so when they click on or do something, it acts funny. So I just need to work on those.
Something I've noticed is if I don't have the remember me clicked, it will log me out. If I do have it clicked, it will keep me logged in. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but it is something I noticed.
I did fix the law list too. It's not that they weren't working; it's just that the actual scores weren't updating. So like the buildings and stuff were going away. I just didn't have something in there updating the scores, so I fixed that.
Cool.
So people should be able to track the progress of the lawless and them disappearing. I also made it so that if you take a lawless city, no longer does because I know a couple people had the issue where they took the lawless city and then it kept treating it like a lawless city, so it kept downgrading the stuff
Oh, I
they were
see,
building.
okay.
So I
Damn.
put that in to fix
Yeah.
as well.
Oh, good. Good, good.
Yeah, I'm looking at one that I was watching yesterday, and it was at 138 score. Now it's down to 11.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're rotting right now.
Yeah, and it had been rotting. It's just that the score wasn't showing that it was. So, little things like that. And I think the trade counselors have been holding up well.
Yeah, finally.
You know, it took a while to
After many,
get the
much
processes
heartache, yeah.
running correctly.
Kind of not overlapping or kind of building up, yeah. So great. Because he was a big thing.
Now it's all about making sure that the settings are correct. I'm thinking about we should probably put the like the limitations for each one in the actual menu. So like in the little area. First of all, I'd like to get rid of this receives excess deliveries from, just because I don't want to hook that up.
Okay.
But then we
Yeah, it actually was never very informative anyway.
It's not.
Maybe we could have some other way of displaying that, because that was never very informative.
No, it's,
Yeah, we need to put city groups in there as well.
but if we could
So
put something
maybe
in
we
there
can kind of
where like it says sending is in excess of this, and so that way people don't get so confused about why it's not shipping out.
Okay. Does the max button do anything in the trade counselor menu? I don't know if it does.
No, it was remember we were debating on what we should do with the max button, and I wanted to make it a plus 100k button.
Yeah, no, that was in a different menu. That was the regular trade menu.
Was it? Because it
Oh,
makes
I
sense to
don't
have it
know.
in the regular trade menu. But for this one, if you just had like plus
Yeah, we could do.
100K, you just click it a couple times and it bumps it up. Because there's no real good way to do a max button for that.
Yeah, nobody would ever want Max anyway, so yeah. Cool. We can do that. Yeah, so I think to get all of the information into the Trade Councillor menu in a kind of informative way, we need to just kind of redesign it a bit. So
Yeah, and put in that
we
drop
can do
down
that.
for saved, like the
Saved
one
settings, yes.
that
Yeah,
Dave
like
Liu,
saved kind of layouts. Yeah.
Dave Liu had made that was awesome. I think would
Yes.
be great to put into the game.
Are scouts seeing items in hideaway now again? Resources and hideaways?
I'll have to check the
Shouldn't
code.
be.
I don't think they should, but I will check. If not, then I will fix it.
Is it possible to add a switch to city button when you have selected one of your cities on the region map?
I think we
Oh,
could do that with the right click, to have the right click menu. So we could have a right click
yeah.
menu where it pops up and says switch to city, or if it's not one of your cities, like attack or plunder or something. I think that would go a long way for people who want to hide the left panel in regional. You could do all of the commands from a right click.
From right click. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, Nihoto, I talked about that earlier. I've got, it's somewhat in. Still needs a little bit of work, but it's getting pretty close to having it so that I can, save players and alliances and change their colors.
Cool. That's been requested a lot.
Yep. So that should be, within the next day or two. I do like how the menu hides on the left, but yeah, having the right click menu could replace pretty much everything on it.
That's true. Who was it that came up with the idea to hide the left panel? It was somebody
Brilliant.
specific.
Yeah.
Somebody brilliant. It actually, no, it wasn't you. It was someone suggested it on the stream.
Hey, just because I said somebody brilliant doesn't mean that I'm, referring to myself.
I'm sorry, I just
it does
presumed.
apply for the most part.
Yeah. Continent mail for alliances. Yeah, I think we can get that in soon enough.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff, are things that are lower priority, but that we'll get in eventually. So we'll try to get everything in, during the beta, but it's, I've been spending a lot more time on making sure that things are working properly before I'm adding new stuff in.
Yeah.
And apparently I have to go back and look at items again, so. Or hammers.
Those hammers really.
They'll struggle.
Yeah, they've been real stubborn this time.
They have. They're gradually starting to behave more and more, but they're still acting out whenever they can.
Well, it's just because there's so many different places where they can be, and to make them work correctly. Like the troop ones are a lot easier to do, but with the hammers, it's making it work with the counselor, or maybe what I should do is go back to making it so that it only works with the actual builds or the counselor when you're not in the city, and then making it so that the build just actually pops up again instead of automatically updates everything. I think people would probably prefer that anyways, because it's slower, but then we'd have a lot less complaints about losing hammers because people don't realize what's been updated. Does that make sense?
I don't know. Sort of.
Like now, if you turn your counselor on and you have the resources, and then you use an item, it'll just automatically pop all your buildings up to the highest level it can go.
Oh, I see. Okay, but
Instead
you were
of-
saying something about switching out of city there. I don't think people would like if they had to be in the city for the item to work.
No, what happened? Well, there's two different things about it. There's one where if you use an item and then you leave the city and you come back, then everything should be completed. Whereas if you're in the city, then it should just keep throwing them up and instantly building them, but still showing them one after another. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
So I mean, we can go back to
Yeah.
that.
So
Where,
the way that it is now, it's just automatic and
yeah, just
goes through
automatic.
straight away. Whereas, yeah. Okay. So maybe we could go back to the other way, the where it shows time like one at a time.
It's a lot slower.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, it's a lot slower, but I think it would save a lot of people getting confused on what happened to their items.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. Yeah. So maybe that's something we can switch back to.
And that would probably stop a lot of the issues with the hammers too.
Yeah, because they were actually working back when we had it like that.
Yep. It's when I put them
And
in
we
because
changed it.
it was pissing me off when I tried to upgrade something. And it was just taking forever. So, um,
Tough.
tough, I'll have to deal with it.
Patient Gordy.
What else have we been working on? I do like that we have patch notes now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anybody who
I like
missed
that.
it, I even if I don't do an actual maintenance, I'll update the patch notes. So we'll put a link somewhere in the game for people to take a look at them. But I'll try to do it, as daily as possible, just to let everybody know what's kind of been changed in the game, how things have been changed, and maybe before they make a ticket for something, they can look on there, or they can see, the details. Like when I did the move button, instead of telling everybody what it is, just put it on the patch notes, and then they can go in there and look for themselves.
Real quick, could you explain the trade counselor minimums?
So trade counselor minimums are two different ways. For sending, it takes a base amount of 30,000, and then it takes your basilica level and divides it by 10. So basically, you're taking a percentage of 30,000, depending on your level. So if you've only got a level 1 basilica and you want it to send out resources, then it'd be 3k is the cap. So, and that's the cap for all of the resources put together. So if you had, 1,000 wood, 1,000 stone, 1,000 iron, then it would send out. But not if you had like 500 of each, because it kind of has to reach that cap before it sends out. And the reason I do that is because if you had it set to no cap at all, then every time it went 1,000 over, you'd get trades, and you'd have so many trades it'd be hard to keep track of. So kind of having a cap on it is important. For requesting, it's the amount of storage that your basilica has divided by 3 is the limit on requesting. So if your basilica has 175,000 storage, like a base level 10, then basically you'd be at what, like can't do that in my head right now. My math head is broken.
Some amount.
55, around
Yeah,
55,000.
around 58,000 or so for it to request, and that's all the resources total. So basically, like if you set your food that you wanted 200,000 food, it wouldn't request food until you drop down to 140,000, and then it would request and fill it back up. Basilica
And
storage,
it's based on basilica storage, not city.
not city, just the
Okay.
basilica level. And that kind of makes it so, when you're starting out and your basilica can only hold, 5,000 resources at a level 1, it will always just kind of move up with the city.
Yeah. So that's good.
Yeah.
But then again, at the same time, we're trying to prevent, overload of trade sends that fill up all the menus and kind of lose their meaning.
Right. So we don't have, 100,000 1K trades
Right.
wandering around.
which is good for players too, because that's a lot of data for them to download and look at the same time. So it
Right.
keeps lag down on that end too.
That did kind of drive me nuts in the other game. You'd get a new city and you'd start requesting, like, you'd put in, like, your minimum, or you know how much you wanted to leave it set at. And it would start out with 1K trades of everything.
I mean, this one will too. At level 1, you'll get some 1K trades, but then it'll slowly go up.
Yeah, but it
level
would
up.
do it at, like, even, like, level 4. So, and it kind of drove me nuts.
Yeah, for refining works completely different. Refining is pretty much, we'll do it exactly when it goes over. So, you know, it'll go 1,000 over and then it'll shoot it back, or 1,000 over and it'll shoot it back. So it'll be constantly refining, just because that doesn't take anything. It's kind of just happening on the back end. So it's not like you have to worry about trays or anything. So that should be pretty instant on the 1K total. It doesn't matter the size of your, it's whatever you set it to. Now, if you don't have it set to anything, it will, and you have a trade counselor, and you have a level 10 sorcerer's tower, it will automatically keep your max resources 500 below the cap, and just keep refining everything that goes over. Does that answer your
Yeah, so
question?
the
Does that apply?
minimums are only for the minimums are only for sending and requesting.
Right, it's not for refining. Refining should happen pretty much on time.
Yep, that answered Zach's question.
Which is the way it should be. If you want it to refine, it shouldn't go over 10K and then refine. You know, it should refine exactly where you wanted it. So, it should never go more than 1,000 over your refine limit. And that does work when you're not in the city as well. It's not as fast, so there's probably going to be a few minute delay. But even if you don't log a city, you'll still get the refined resources from it. Pretty much every 5 to 10 minutes. If you see red digits, that means that you do not have either a trade counselor or a level 10 sorcerer's tower. If not, you should just see orange.
Yeah, I haven't seen any red at all where I have sorcerer's towers. Well, level 10s.
Again, that's another thing that I turned off for Marty, so. Well, then it should be refining. Even if you have it set to something above your storage, it will still refine it if it hits your storage cap. So if you're seeing something red, there's something else going on.
It was still refining, right, Dragon? It just was showing red. Okay, it only refines when he clicks in a city. Is it still doing that, or was it just at the beginning?
When he clicks in the city, so like he's not in the city and then he clicks over, it's red.
Seems to wait until he clicks.
Oh, okay. So if he's, I see what he's saying. So what happens is if he's not doing anything and then he's looking at it, yeah, you're not like actually synchronizing with the game anymore. But as soon as you click in, it kind of all catches right back up to where you were. So even though it might look like it's red, that's because the JavaScript's running and it's still running on the back end properly. It's just hasn't sent you the update until you click in.
It went to sleep. Display went to sleep.
But still, it should keep it at orange because I put it in the front end to keep it at orange too. So I don't know. But yeah, that could be what's happening, especially because sometimes JavaScript doesn't run properly if you're not active in the window.
Yeah, I've noticed that if I tab out and I tab back in, that a bunch of shadow come through all at once.
Yeah, that's basically JavaScript is its natural nature is not to work when you don't have it as the active window. And I mean,
Yeah.
there are ways to override it, but I kind of prefer that the game kind of goes dormant when you're not in it, because that kind of keeps your computer available to do other things.
A couple of people were saying, I think, in the last day or two, that if they have the game logged in from, say, their home computer, and then they go to work and they have, the game open and work all day, when they come home, they're still logged into the game actually on their home computer, and like it just kind of takes a second to kind of will catch back up, but that it's like that they hadn't been logged out. Is that kind of the way that it's going to be, or should they be
No, it
disconnected?
should be a disconnect. I'm not quite sure if they're actually getting disconnected and reconnected, but it doesn't work if you're running two at the same time. But I'll double check that because it should disconnect people. The same way that it does
Okay.
like when you take somebody's sub.
Yeah. Yes, people logging in at work, slacking.
I used to like that about Ebony was that you could change the title bar to say whatever you wanted. So if you were playing at work, you could change the title bar to say something business-like. That way, if anybody walked in and
Oh, I like it.
saw the title of your tabs in your browsers, it would say something else besides for online game.
Yes. Excel report.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And we
So
could
there
probably,
was something good about Ebony.
Yeah, we could
you
put
know,
something in game options like that.
I think for like a starter war game, Ebony is kind of way more intense than anything else I've ever played. Um, Mostly because you spend a lot of time leveling up like single heroes in that game, and so you can also lose that hero. So you could spend 3 years leveling up a hero, and that hero is kind of the way that your troops build. So like how if you have like a perfect layout here, you'll get like 1 second vanquishers or something. Well, that's the way it was with the heroes in Ebony. So if you had a hero that was a high enough level and it was in that city at the time, um, then you'd get instant troops. So the heroes were like pretty much the backbone of the entire game. Um, and then somebody could take your hero when you were sleeping. So if somebody capped your city, they could take that hero that you worked on for a year and a half, 2, 3 years, and basically your account's worth nothing. So that's why it was kind of an intense game like that.
Ebony
That sounds
PTSD, Drew.
awful.
Yeah,
Really
that
wordy, I think.
that would be very traumatizing. I think I'd
Yeah.
rage quit. I definitely think I'd rage quit. And I don't. It takes a lot to make me rage, but that might do it.
A lot of
Yeah.
people did quit after losing their main heroes, and because a lot of people also put a lot of real money into them because you could buy things that would level up your hero.
Damn. Steeltown asks, with the magic powder, it shows that one powder is 249 denarii, but you can get 3 hours of construction items for 279 denarii. Is that number a bit off? I think it's to dissuade people from using it quite as much.
Yeah,
Is that the...
it's not the fact that it costs the same denarii; it's the fact that it takes less charisma. So while you could get a 3 hour construction speed up for that, 279, it also takes 1K of charisma, whereas the powder only takes 300 charisma. So that's why the price is kind of on par, is because it's not something that, if we made the price, 1/10 of, or, like an equal par of the speed ups, then it would be way too overused.
Just a balance thing.
Yeah. I think other games had the same kind of rationale when it came to the portal items. The portal items were much more expensive
Yeah.
for the same reason, just to kind of dissuade use.
Right.
But they'll be
Commands
dropping
and
some
reinforcements.
bosses.
A tooltip over units and commands and reinforcements. Oh, do they not? I thought they did. I thought I'd gotten all of them. Yeah, we can
Is
do
it a
that.
tooltip or is it a click? Because I think when you click, it'll show them. I don't know if it does it for raids though.
It should show on all of them. I literally went through them, I thought. Let me see.
I think when I tried raids, it didn't work, but it worked for all the other ones.
Damn, look at that. It doesn't work. Okay, I'll get onto that. That should work. It was working in closed testing. Okay, well, I'll take a look.
Oh, there's a tooltip in the players line in the Alliance member list. So if you pop over, if you hover over, it'll pop up that they have so many cities.
Huh.
I haven't seen that, but I'm not often in an Alliance, so.
Taking a look now. So what, like if you hover the name? Or which menu?
The member list?
Okay. I think it should just show the cities in the same table.
I don't see any pop-ups.
No, in Alliance information.
Oh, I'm not in Alliance.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take a look at it.
I am, for some reason. I'm in the test alliance. So, yeah, I'm here in an alliance. And it shows, like, in the same table number of cities. So, like, it just kind of, the tooltip just shows, like, what's in the table, like, in the table cell. Kind of, again, because sometimes the contents of the table cell are too long for the cell, so you can't read it. But there shouldn't be any like extra information in there.
As far as the labels go, I'm still working on a good way to do the labels. I think the labels have, the way that we're doing them now, has really decreased a lot of the memory use. I think
it has, yeah.
I think the game runs a lot faster now. But sometimes for some reason it takes a long time for somebody who's new to get their labels worked in correctly. So I just need to go in there and do a check to dynamically make them if somebody doesn't have a label.
Something I've noticed is if I haven't been in region for a little while and I go to region, the label will be blurry. And then as soon as I click
It'll
on
be double for
that
a while.
city, yeah.
Those are only for
And
your
as soon as I
cities.
click on the city,
Those
They're
are for your
for us
cities.
three, are
Oh.
they?
Because
Okay.
it's pulling out your name and putting on the city name.
okay.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, I get you.
See, I hadn't actually tried to read what it was doing because it just makes my eyes cross. Yeah, I see it now. And as soon as I click on one of the cities, it all clears up. Yeah. Peacer, give it a one-time straight refresh if you're not getting the worldview pictures.
Don't clear cache. Just
Yeah.
refresh without clearing cache. Yeah.
And then
It's
try
just
And
applying.
forcing
should
those.
work.
Applying seems to help too.
It's yeah, yeah. It's just forcing the images to come through.
Did you try to apply the settings up at the top?
Yeah, just click the apply button. That'll work sometimes too.
I mean, there's something that's happening that's keeping people from seeing world map, but then once they kind of get it working, then it works good from then on. So that's something I probably need to fix.
I think it's something with how it's loading, because if I go to world map, I'll see it empty at first, and then about 3 or 4 seconds later, it'll populate.
Yeah, it takes a moment
Yeah,
for it
same.
to populate in.
So maybe it's getting stuck there somehow.
I'll check it out. See what else I can do.
Being able to show your troops, your troop counts to alliance mates in rankings, is that gonna happen anytime soon?
Yeah, we need to get that in.
Yeah.
It actually, I don't think it even shows your own military at the moment.
It
Or
does
at least
show
for
your
me,
own.
it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
I don't see my own. Oh. Okay.
You have to look under GM Alakazam.
Yeah, no, there's literally the entire list from top to bottom just says unknown.
Yeah, I thought that too until like it's just hard because there's so many to spot yourself. Let me see.
No, I kind of combed through looking for myself, but I didn't see myself.
Goldwolf, is it blank like you're not even seeing the continents and water and stuff, or blank you can't see the dots for the cities and stuff?
Oh, never mind, I am there. Okay, I take it back.
Yeah, try that, Gold. Try making some changes and click apply, then go back to region and back to world.
Yeah, I need to fix that so it just automatically loads. I don't know why it's not.
It shows the first time.
Yeah.
It's because I changed the whole world map thing around so that people could apply and save settings. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once it's going, it should stay going pretty well once you get it to come up the first time. So it's
Yeah,
just,
just getting
that
it going.
first time. Yeah.
Military rank by continent. Is that working, Gordy?
I don't know. Is it?
Probably not then, if you don't know.
Looks like it works.
Yeah, Marty says she sees all players when selecting 22.
No, mine changed.
I went to C24, which I am not on, and I'm here looking at the military rankings for C24, and I appear on the list for C24, even though I am not.
Probably need to take out the
So,
zeros.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, I'm a 0. Okay, so that's okay.
That is something I need to do. Take out the zeros.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, teammates seeing each other's troops will be coming at some point. Right?
Yep.
Cool.
Yes, it will. Yeah, I think the option is already in-game option somewhere. I don't know if it's visible or to people or not, but it is there. So we'll be hooking it up at some point.
Which is going to be fun to implement. To go through every person on the
Yeah.
list and check to see if they want to share it or not.
Yeah, it's gonna be a party.
So yeah, that's why it doesn't look right. Is because the list still shows every player, but it doesn't.
It shows them as 0
It
if they're
shows them
not
as
on the
0 if
continent.
they're not on the continent. So I just need to take all the zeros out.
Cool.
And I think we're at the end. So if anybody else has any questions, we can answer them.
Any questions?
Yeah, I reckon that's a good way to do it. Is just not to give anybody the option to hide their troops. And so if you're in an alliance, which is actually the way it should be, anyways. If you're in an alliance, you should trust the people you're in the alliance with, anyways. So there shouldn't be options to hide stuff from them. And if you don't trust the people you're in the alliance with, then you should probably not be in that alliance.
Well, I think in other games, certainly it started out that it was visible, I think, and you had to change it to be invisible if you had a spy or, didn't trust your teammates or something. So I think, we could probably make it that way for now, and then we can get in the option later to change.
Or maybe we make it like an alliance-wide option.
What, like the leader decides?
Yeah, kind of like where, if you go into alliance options,
preference.
We put it in there just like we do with the overviews.
Yeah, okay. Rockstar says that's very idealistic. I agree, but we are idealists. I guess if the alliance leader knows that there is a spy about, to, I guess, temporarily change the options to unknown for a while until you read out who it is.
Well, at least that way it would make it so your officers only can see the TS, so that way they can use it for planning, which is what I assume it's for.
Yeah.
And that would make it a lot.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We could add it to preferences. Yeah.
It'd make it a lot faster to load it that way, because if not, it's going to take a long time to load everybody's preference
individually. Yeah.
Individually.
Okay, let's do that then.
So.
We can do that.
And we can just, tack it on to another option that's currently there.
Yeah, perfect. We can do that.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, people have asked about that before. I really don't want to get in to start making private chat rooms. Private chat rooms would just be one heck of a clusterfuck and pain in the ass for me. So I think we'll probably keep, the current chat rooms how they are. And if people want, a different
I think,
chat room,
if you know everybody that's going to be in a chat room, you can, either use Skype, which I think most of us do, or else, there are, chat room websites that you can go to and just make a temporary chat room there. So I'm kind of happy enough with what we have.
Yeah, I don't want to start getting into, people having 10 different chat windows and having to process through them all. And, that just starts becoming a pain in the ass and slows everything down.
The up arrow will reply to the last person you whispered.
Yes.
To Dragon Hunter's question, yeah.
Yeah. So just click your up arrow and it'll automatically just populate the whisper.
And I could probably make it so that it would, cycle through all of the different people you've whispered.
Then you kind of risk accidentally hitting up arrow twice and whispering the wrong person, I suppose.
That is true.
Yeah, you have to have whispered them first. It's just a reply thing.
Oh no, if you were whispering your enemy earlier and now you're whispering your friend and you accidentally hit up twice and it goes to your enemy instead of your friend or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, whisper fail potential there, as Marty says.
Yeah, I think that's
With going to whisper tab, I guess it just depends on how many people you've whispered and whether it's gonna whisper the right person back if you start typing and whisper.
And it is
You have
pretty
a couple of
lenient.
whispers going on, yeah.
You know, so if you type somebody's name and you don't like capitalize it and stuff, it's pretty lenient on getting to the right person.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool.
I don't want to put anything too, you know, because technically I could make it where like if you misspelled somebody's name, then it would automatically find it. But that's just such potential for something wrong. You know, where you end up whispering the wrong person completely.
We do have like a couple of quite similar names in the game as well, so I don't think
So I
both are
think,
good.
you know, the capital letters is pretty much as far as I'm going to
As
take
far as
that.
we can go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And I do need to put in that blank for, you know, if you get a whisper and you've got chat minimized.
Yeah.
Say that again.
You know, like you remember how I used to have the blink, the epilepsy blink?
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
epilepsy blink. Yeah, we need to get something a bit less dramatic than that, but similar in at some stage. Yes.
I was thinking
Like
about
maybe
using
just
notifications that just you couldn't get to go away until you responded. Just constantly popping
Yeah,
up on the
we could do
screen.
that.
well, you could
Well,
just
we
make
could do
the chat
them
thingy
clickable.
light up, but not flash. Maybe.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
like
if
kind
we
of
just
turn to yellow or something.
like the
Yeah.
hover effect it's got now.
Yeah.
You know,
But just make it
make
go
it stick.
solid like that. Yeah.
We can do that.
I don't know. I still
No
like
one
my
wants that.
I still like my idea of hundreds of notifications you have to click through one by one.
Gordy.
I think that's it for us for this week. If anybody else has any questions, you know, feel free to ask us in game or make a ticket with suggestions. We do look at them, although we have a lot to go through, and we are a very small amount of people. So please be patient with any tickets and responses. And you know, if you don't get a response, don't take it personally. We don't hate you. It's just that, you know, we've got a lot of tickets and we are fixing the issues. We're just not always able to respond to every one of them individually. Although
Yeah,
we do
like-
try our
Exactly.
best.
Yeah, if we need more information, we'll let you know. If it's a very specific thing that got fixed, we'll let you know. But sometimes we just skim and go fix it, and we can't always respond to each ticket.
So, but
'Cause
we
that's
do
a
look
lot.
at them. So do not
Yes,
take
we
it
do. We
personally.
read every one of them. So
Maybe when we get you know, bigger in the lives, we will have more people, you know, staffed to go through tickets. But at this point, with three of us, it's just it takes us a lot of time to go through them all.
exactly.
You're allowed to throw a temper tantrum, Dave, but you might get ignored.
Yeah, you can throw all the temper tantrums you want. We just don't care.
Prioritizing our time. Yes.
We'll probably laugh at you behind your back.
Or I'll say something funny or talk to you like I'm your mom, or I do
Put you in the
kind of-
time-out corner.
Right, I do kind of mother people sometimes.
So thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be on next week to talk about, you know, more stuff that's going on with the game. And
Yep.
hope everybody has fun. We'll see you in chat.
Yep, thank you.
Yep. See you in chat and tickets, and thank you for tuning in.
Have a nice week.